My garden has gone crazy this year. I'm going to take you on a little walk through and show you what we have going on. Here it is. I have never had things grow this well since we've been in this spot. We have a really short season here, and we've dealt with a lot of grass. But this year we put down the black landscaping fabric over the whole garden and pretty much eliminated all the grass competition. We'd already gotten rid of pretty much all the weeds in here, so that hasn't been a big issue for us, but the grass was really causing a lot of problems. And I think since we're in such a cold pocket, this landscape fabric also helped things to grow. So we have lychee berries, tomatillos. These are some cherry tomatoes. I planted everything at the spacing that I normally do, not expecting the plants to get this big. They have never grown this well on this property. I usually have tiny little cucumber plants, but as you can see, these are exploding. Our last frost was June 10th this year, and it's now late July, so it's been about 6 weeks since our last frost. Hopefully we'll get at least another month here before our first frost of the fall. And these tomatoes, I usually space my tomatoes at 18 inches apart. And this is usually as big as they get by the end of summer. Right now they're just all growing into each other. They should be pruned, but I don't have time for that. So I'm just tying up the plants with twine to the strings on the top here. And that does work pretty well to keep them up off the ground. We have potatoes. These squash, I ended up with some extra space, and so I planted these late. They were kind of just thrown in as an afterthought, and I didn't expect them to get this big. They're crowding out my potatoes and my peppers over there. These potatoes are really happy. My snow peas here actually pulled in the T-posts that were holding up their trellis, so I need to do some repair work here to straighten these up since they're all flopped over. Cabbages, I usually have a really hard time growing here. I'm not sure if it was the weed competition or what, but this year we've gotten some really nice ones already. They are pretty happy. And same as with everything else, I probably wouldn't have planted them quite so close together if I expected the plants to get this big. We kind of have a line on this side of the garden, I think from the neighbor's row of trees. The soil is more acidic over here. There's another tree right here. So I think they're getting some water competition from the tree roots as well. The rows that I have on this side of the garden have never grown very fast compared to everything else. You can really see it over here with the squash. These were planted the same time as those. And as you can see, there is a definite line. You can tell where the good soil is. And these squash have just exploded. I don't know if I've ever had squash plants get this big since I've been gardening in Montana. I'm trying to direct these off of the pathway. They're taking over my sweet corn. So we should have lots of winter squash and pumpkins this year from this jungle. These are my pole beans. They're just starting to bloom. So hopefully we would get a nice harvest of pole beans this year. Here's some more summer squash. There's some in there. And these are my cantaloupe. They're really a challenge to grow here. I've had some luck with Jenny Lind muskmelon. That's a little faster growing than most of the full-size varieties. Hopefully this landscape fabric will help the melons to ripen this year, because that's been our biggest issue. We'll get melons that set fruit, but then they never ripen. They're not very good when we go to cut them open. It's really exciting to have my garden doing so well this year. We've had so many issues here with the grass and the pests and then the short season. Last year we just had 80 days between frosts, so it's really been encouraging to see things grow and do well. All of my gardening techniques actually work.